Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 19th July 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see our quote. So this quote is given by Mahatma Gandhi. So he says, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Okay, so you have to live. You have to live at the moment that you are going to die tomorrow. So if you know you're going to die tomorrow, so how you will live? So in the same way, you have to live every day, and even you have to learn as if you were to live forever. So if you know that you are going to live forever, how you are going to learn the things? So in the same way, you have to learn the things. So this is the one important thing, and this is one of the motivation quote which is given by Mahatma Gandhi ji. And now let us try to see the first topic. It is regarding defense exports of India. So here our Prime Minister, he mainly says that our defense exports, they have gone up 7 times. So this article is very important from your defense point of view, and even we can talk about our current account deficit here, and even we can talk about imports of defense equipment and what are the steps that are mainly taken by the country mainly for the promoting of our defense exports, and even what are the policies that we came up. So these are all things that you need to know. So now let us try to see why it is in news, why our Prime Minister, he said this statement. So highlighting the development of new defense ecosystem in the country, our Prime Minister, he said, India is moving fast from being a biggest arms importer to a biggest exporter in defense sector. Yes, earlier we used to get our defense equipment from other countries, and the major defense partners of India, for example, you can talk about USA, you can talk about Russia, you can talk about France, and even Israel, right? So these are some major countries from where we are getting our defense equipment. So now here our Prime Minister said that, so now we are moving very much fast and we became the biggest arms exporter. Okay, so earlier we used to get our defense equipment from other countries. Now India became self-sufficient, and even we are exporting the large of amount of this defense equipment for other countries. So I'm not talking about advanced equipment here. Okay, so don't mistake me. So here you're talking about just a small export, but not big advanced exports like Rafale, etc. So if we're talking about details, it mainly says that India's defense imports have decreased by 21%. So by 21% there is decreasing of defense import of India, and we can compare from last 4 to 5 years. Okay, we need a standard, right? So earlier we used to import, for example, 100 equipment, and now there is decreasing of 21. That means we are importing just 79 now. So for this we need standard. So if you are comparing from last 4 to 5 years, there is decreasing of about 21% of our defense import. And in this context, our Prime Minister, he mainly said that, so here we are mainly moving very much fast from being defense importer to a big exporter. So in this context, how many times there is increasing of our defense exports? So our defense exports have increased 7 times. So 7 times of increasing of defense exports that is seen from last 8 years. From last 8 years, there are 7 times of increasing of our defense exports. And we achieved defense exports worth of 13,000 crore rupees. Of this, 70% are from private sector. So here we are also improving in private sector, we can say. Okay, so in the defense also, in the defense field, so there is also coming up of private, and we are also focusing on increasing of exports. They are mainly made up of this private sector. So in last 8 years, they have not only increased their defense budget. So if you are talking about steps of government, yes, government of India which took many steps. Okay, and if you are talking about when you are importing this equipment from other countries, the import bill will be very high. So whenever there is import bill very high, yes, that will also leads to decreasing of our forex reserves. That means if you are getting, for example, Rafale from other country, yes, we need to pay for that Rafale. They are not going to give for free. right? So we need to pay in dollars or some foreign currency. So what are the forex reserves that we have? So if you are getting more number of imports, not one Rafale, if you are getting 10 Rafale or 20 Rafales, then what happens? We need to pay more amount of money. So more amount of imports, more amount of money. So because of this, that will lead to decreasing of our forex reserves. And because of this, government of India, which mainly took number of steps, and as you all know, so what are the budget we are coming up every year? So the defense budget will be highest. So here government of India, which mainly came up with increasing of defense budget, and in this defense budget we are not focusing on getting of equipment from other countries, that is imports, but even we mainly focused on the development of defense manufacturing ecosystem. So whenever we are focusing on this defense manufacturing ecosystem, yes, we can produce large amount of equipments, and that equipments that we can export to other countries. That is the thing which mainly happened in India from last 8 years. So now let us try to focus on what are the steps which are mainly came up by government of India to boost indigenous production, that is manufacturing of this defense equipment in India. So what are the steps came up by government of India? So first one here is government came up with relaxation of license. So government started especially relaxing or liberalizing license, and because of that private sector which mainly entered into this defense. Right? So measures mainly announced to boost exports since 2014. So we came up with simplifying this defense industrial licensing, and we also relaxed export controls. Okay, and there is no will be no objection certificates, they also been granted. So because of this is one important step which is taken by government of India. And next one is lines of credit. Here special incentives they were introduced under foreign trade policy and also MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, such that will lead to increasing of production of defense equipment in India. And next one here is government also came with policy, not only step but even policy which mainly separately focusing on this defense production, that is defense production and export promotion policy 2020. So we are going to talk about, okay. And next one here is we also came up with indigenization list. So here especially to boost our indigenous manufacturing, here government issued 2 indigenization lists. So this list which contains 209 items, so those items they cannot be imported. So at any cost we have to produce those, or we have to manufacture those 209 items. And if you are talking about budgetary allocation, yes, we focused on good amount of budgetary allocation, especially for the promotion of domestic industry, that is manufacturing of defense equipment in India. So as I said, so we are going to talk about policy. The policy here is Defense Production and Export Promotion Policy 2020. So what are some key highlights of this policy? Yes, you have to know. Okay, so not only the step, yes, whenever government is coming up with any policy or program, that will be helpful for the actual gain. Okay, that will help to attain our actual aim, that is increasing of our production and even to focus on the exports. So here this policy which mainly came up in year 2020, and it mainly focused and it mainly structured and it has some significant trust on defense production capabilities. So we are focusing on production, we are focusing on structuring, and even to increase the trust of regarding this defense production in capabilities in India. So policy which is having some goals and objectives. So first of all, we are focusing on increasing of our manufacture of this defense equipment. So we need to achieve the turnover here is 1,75,000 rupees. And it also includes exports rupees 35,000 crore rupees, especially in this aerospace and defense goods services. And we are also focusing on dynamic, robust, competitive defense industry as well. And we want to especially reduce our imports, that is defense import, and we need to promote this Make in India initiative as well. And we are focusing on promotion of this exports of this defense product. So once we increase our manufacturing, yes, we will be in a position to export to other countries. And we are also focusing to create environment, okay, and even we are focusing on encouraging research and development in this area as well. So I want to give you first question here is, so to which countries, so which equipment that we have exported till now. So please do some research and you will be getting some interesting facts as well. So now let us try to see the second topic, that is about RBI's ombudsman scheme. So here title says under RBI's ombudsman scheme 7,813 complaints they have received against digital apps and as well as recovery agents. So as you all know that especially in our state Telangana, so there were a number of suicides that were happened because of these digital loan apps. So these ones we are getting loan from these digital apps, so they will be starting harassing. So because of this harassment, so that is led to increasing of suicides. Okay, so we already saw this article I think 4 or 5 days ago. So this article which is mainly talking about RBI's ombudsman scheme. So here you have to know what is the meaning of this ombudsman scheme. So actually it is RBI's integrated ombudsman scheme. So integrated means we are mainly coming up with grouping together some schemes. So we have to know which schemes they are and in which year they came up and what is the need of this RBI's ombudsman scheme. So for example, if there is any ordinary person who is getting loan, okay, for example, if there is a person X, he got loan from a bank. So if he is getting loan from a bank, it is not at all a problem. So he can pay this money in installments, right? So if so and so X person who do not have proper documents and he is in need of money, if he go to bank because of the lack of documents, he is not getting loan. So at that time, so he need money for sure. So because of this person, he will be going to this NBFCs, non-banking financial corporations. So he is getting loan from this NBFCs. If there is any grievance redressal, so where he have to go? So he can go to this ombudsman scheme. Okay, so this is the need of this ombudsman scheme. So where he is going to get this grievance redressal system. So now let us try to see these topics. This topic is important from your GS paper 3 under economy. So now let us try to see why it is in news. So there are about 7,813 complaints against banks and even non-banking financial companies. Okay, financial companies, they were mainly recorded or registered in this integrated ombudsman scheme of RBI. Okay, regarding, for example, you can talk about digital applications, recovery agents, etc. So from this, the people, they are mainly facing some problems. So for those problems, they have to get some grievance redressal, so they can get under this RBI's integrated ombudsman scheme. So now let us focus on some important details. So Minister of State for Finance and RBI, they introduced this scheme, that is RBI's integrated ombudsman scheme 2021. So here they mainly came up with a collection of complaints regarding banks, okay, which is given by the general public regarding banks and as well as other non-banking financial companies. So now let us try to see what is this scheme, that is the RBI, the Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman Scheme 2021. So first of all, let us try to talk about what is this ombudsman. Ombudsman nothing but, so we will be having a government official, and this so and so government official, he is mainly dealing with the complaints. So who are going to give this complaints? It is general public. So general public, whenever they are coming up with any complaints regarding any public organization, so that so and so government official, he mainly deals with that complaints. So that person is called as ombudsman. So we came up with this concept of this ombudsman from Sweden. So this will be one important film statement for your other state public service examination. So here ombudsman means what? I hope you got some idea regarding this ombudsman. So ombudsman nothing but, it is like a public officer who is appointed by the government and they are mainly going to handle with some issues of people, especially regarding this administrative authority. So if you are talking about India, okay, in India an ombudsman mainly appointed to resolve the grievances regarding any insurance, any income tax and as well as banking. So for banking we have this RBI's ombudsman scheme. Okay, so this is about some brief background. And if you're focusing on this scheme, especially the RBI's integrated ombudsman scheme, so here it mainly, I said that it is integrated. Integrated means it is a combination of some groups. So here in this scheme, so we came with combination of 3 schemes, that is banking ombudsman scheme. Next one is ombudsman scheme of non-banking financial companies. Next one here is ombudsman scheme of digital transactions. So these are the 3 schemes we mainly clubbed together and we came up with this integrated RBI's ombudsman scheme. So the unified ombudsman scheme that will helps to provide redress of customer complaints. and even it is mainly focusing on some RBI regulated entities like banks, non-banking financial companies, and as well as it is focusing on these prepaid investment players, okay, etc. So if you're talking about why we need this scheme, so actually you know that yes, if normal public they are facing some problems with these banks and NBMCs, where they can go. So there is a need of some organization where they can redress their, okay, they can go for their grievance citizen. Yes, we came up with this first ombudsman scheme in 1990s. And one of the important concerns here is there is lack of maintainable grounds on which consumer would challenge the actions of a regulatory entity at this ombudsman. Actually, there is no clarity regarding the maintenance grounds. So this is one important issue. And next one here is the move to integrate the systems, that is banking, non-banking financial companies and digital payments. They also expand the grounds of complaints. So because of this, we can see large number of complaints they have been filed. This is about this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. It is about 5-day work week might be fading. So if you are talking about now, so how many days you are working? So if you are a working professional, how many days you are working? I am not asking about UPSC aspirants. So UPSC aspirants who are students, they have to work all the day. Okay, there will be no leaves. Okay, so I am talking about working professionals. So they will be working normally 5 days a week. So 5 days a week means how many hours they are going to work. So if you take 8 hours per day, so they are working about 40 hours per week. So here this article says that here 5-day work week, it is going to fade. So we are going to come up with 4 days of work in a week. That is 3 days of holidays. So I don't know in these 3 days, so how you can utilize? How you can utilize these 3 days if you are a working professional? So what are the plans you are going to have? So what are the plans you already came up? Okay, to how to spend these 3 days in a week? So let me know in the comment box. Okay, if you are a working professional and how you plan, and if you had not yet planned, so how you are going to plan this? So let me know in the comment box so that I can also follow that. And now let us try to see the article here. So this article which is mainly talking about 4-day work week, and we are going to see some case studies in other countries, how they are going for and why they are going for, and what might be the advantages and what will be the impact on the women, and even we are going to see at last Indian scenario. Okay, so Indian scenario, it will be going to work or not, we have to think about that, right? So now let us try to see this topic in a great detail. So if you're talking about employment in India, so now recently one buzzword which mainly seen in the news and as well as social media here is 4 days week. So we have to work for 4 days per week. So the idea of this 4-day week, okay, against the usual 40 hours, that is 5 days of work in a week, so which has been mooted for decades. So it is not the new concept now. So even it is older than the concept of Great Depression. So we came up with this Great Depression in year 2008. That is also called as US subprime crisis. So before that itself, so we had this concept of 4-day a week. So after reduction of this working hours in 1920s and 1930s, so here Henry Ford, so he mainly said that so productivity had been increased. So how the productivity of this work had been increased? Yes, we incorporated technology. So because of this technology, instead of one work who is doing 10 hours of work a day, so if you are using some machines or if you are using some higher technologies, that will reduce the burden on the humans. So because of this high-end technology, yes, there is a increasing of productivity even if we are go for this 4-day hours, 4-day working days. So if you're talking about even one more economist, I think you might be knowing that name, that is Keynes. So Keynes also predicted that their grandchildren, they are going to work just 15 hours a week, but it has not been a reality now. So now let us try to see what are the trail results and how they are showing the benefits. So there are 2 studies which are given. The first one is regarding Microsoft. I think you might be knowing about this Microsoft for everyone. So in the most recent and as well as widespread adoption of a 4-day work. So they came with a trail in this Microsoft Japan in 2019, and they found that this trail, which mainly provide an 8-hour work per day for 4 days. So 8 hours work for the 4 days and 3-day weekend, but 5-day week paycheck it is mainly given. And in this trail they found that there is 40% of increasing of work productivity, and there is also increasing of job satisfaction and even lower burnouts that are mainly seen in the office. So if you are talking about burnouts, I can talk about electricity. So because of the workers, you are only working 4 days a week rather than the 5 days a week. So in the 1 month they can cut 4 days, right? So because of this, in 1 month there is a cutting of normally 4 days it is extra. That is, earlier it is to 5 days, now it is 4 days. Okay, so in week we have 7 days. So out of the 7 days, 4 days we have to work and 3 days we have to take a leave. Okay, so normally we will be having 4 weeks. 4 into 3, there are 12 offs, 12 days holidays that is mainly seen. Okay, so in this context here, because of this high leaves and high week offs, so what happened, there is 23% of dip that is mainly seen in the electricity cost. So there is no using of systems, there is no using of machines, and there is no use of electricity as well. Electricity, that means that is the bulbs, etc. So because of this, there is 23% of decreasing of electricity cost and 60% of fall in the number of pages which are mainly printed in the office. So in this way they started saving some electricity. And next important study, it is by New Zealand Trust Management Company. It reported 20% of increasing of worker productivity. Okay, so worker productivity had been increased, and they came with a trail in 2018. So most trails of 4-day work week seem to increase or at least keep constant worker productivity. So here, if you are talking about larger view here, so few working days they will lead to lower commuting. That is, the commuting means that will reduce the time to come to office, and even that will mainly helps to decrease the electricity consumption in the office. Okay, so in this way we are mainly focusing on reviving of this employment rates, especially after this COVID-19 period. And now let us try to see how it will be having some impact on women. So if we're talking about women, a short work week, it is one of the important and we can say a welcome step that will be helpful to move towards this gender equality and as well as worker career or progression. So a 2-day weekend, okay, was often not enough for women. That is from Saturday and as well as Sunday if they are getting off, and at that time actually it is not sufficient for the women, because women need to involve in the care work for their elderly people and as well as for their children, and especially mothers, they will be not getting much time to play with their children itself. So women, they are mainly opting for this smaller shifts and as well as shorter work days for the lower pay. So in this way it will be helpful for the women. And next one here is, it not always a virtue. So we cannot go for always decreasing of this working hours, because actually 4-day work a week is not one that mainly fits all. So the service sector has challenges regarding implementing a 4 work week, especially for a short firms, okay, for a small firms. So if there is a small firm which is containing like 5 or 6 employers, so if they want to go for 4-day work week, it is not much feasible for them. And even if you are talking about hairdresser or any cobbler, so he cannot ensure that he are going to do cuttings only, that is hairdressing only on these 4 days, because within this 4 days, so he cannot get more amount of income. And next one here is, especially in the schools and hospitals and even sales market departments, so they also face a similar types of issues and challenges. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let's try to focus on especially Indian scenario. So if we're talking about scenario in India, so India also conducted the study between February 1st and February 7th across the sectors in this 2022 by Genius Consultants. So in this study they said that among 1,113, so here it mainly says that, so they mainly came with surveying of 1,113 employers, and out of this 1,100 people, about 60% of people they preferred for 4-day work belief. Okay, they mainly said that we want to go for 4-day work per week. And next one here is, so recognizing the growing trend, so Indian government, that is central government, it need to set up and it need to roll up new labor codes. Okay, so those should be very much flexible, and whenever it is flexible we can change it accordingly. So on the 4-day work week, so the new code stipulated the requirement of minimum of 48 hours per week. 48 hours means we need to work 12 hours a day. So if you want to get 3 days of holiday, you have to work 12 hours per day. So now let us try to imagine whether we are going to work this 12 hours per day or not. Let me know in the comment box if you are interested or not. And the new regulations on the flexible worksheet with 12 hours of daily work are not likely to increase the productivity. So in the study we mainly found that, so whenever there is 12 hours of work, okay, per day, so there will be decreasing of productivity. And the draft code, it should also remember that only reduction in the number of working days and keeping the number of hours fixed, that will not contribute for the improved labor productivity. And next important one here is, so when you are having the shorter work week, it also having the number of advantages for the employees, employee well-being, efficiency, etc. So if you are talking about implementing of this 4-day work without a reduction, okay, without a reduction in this aggregate working hours such as in India, so it will lead to a failure. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding India's climate imperative. So this is one of the beautiful article I read ever. So it gave a lot of insights regarding climate change in India. Okay, not only India and even in the other countries, but this article is mainly focused on India. So if you read this article, you will be getting, I think, more than 15 points to write a good answer for this climate change. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if we're talking about this article, it is focusing on this climate catastrophes. So what are the climate catastrophes that we came across in the recent past? So for example, you can talk about heat waves in Rajasthan. You can talk about especially the torrential downpours, that is heavy rainfall in the southern India, and even cyclone Umphon, which mainly battered this western Bengal and as well as Odisha. Okay, Western Bengal and Odisha in 2020, West Bengal and this Odisha in 2020. So these are some important symbols of man-made climate change. Okay, these are some important symbols of man-made climate change. And even if you're talking about the temperature over this Indian Ocean, which has been raised over 1 degree centigrade since 1950, and we are seeing there is intense weather events. Okay, India, which is one of the 4th world's most heated region. Okay, so heat waves in India, they have claimed about 17,000 lives, and since 1970 there are about 70,000 people, they lost their life because of this heat wave. And the labor codes from rising heat, okay, by one estimate it could reach 1.6 lakh rupees annually in the global warming if it exceeds 2 degrees centigrade, and India, which is going to hit the hard. And if you are talking about the need, the first one here is we need to come up with adaptations to climate impact. So we need to go for building of resilience against the weather extremes, and even we can go for mitigating of environmental destruction. So we need to focus on how to prevent this climate change, and we need to come out of this climate change, because it is a very lethal, it is also very dangerous for the health. And if you're talking about this climate resilience, so extreme heat waves, they hit the swatches of in India, that is we can experience large amount of this heat waves in India. So heat waves, they are mainly increased because of this deforestation, degradation, etc. And if you're talking about agriculture, the most of the times we follow this water intensive agriculture. That means, so the crops which require the more amount of water that we are going to grow. For example, you can talk about sugarcane as well as you can talk about rice. So the solution here is, so we need to focus on promoting of agriculture practices, and we need to go for afforestation. So we need to go for mainly the plant trees, and as well as buying of some equipment. For example, we can go for drip irrigation, etc. That will helpful mainly to reduce this water usage, heavy water usage. And we can use some insurance schemes. Insurance schemes can transfer some of the risk of extreme heat faced by industrial, construction, and as well as agricultural works to insurers. So here we can also focus on this climate resilient infrastructure or climate resilient agriculture for diversification. So we can go for multiple crops. If you are taking 1 acre of land, so we can go for growing of one crop in this line and one crop in this line, one crop in this line. So in this way we can go for multiple crops. That will also helpful to mitigate this climate change. And even we can go for production of localized food production, and we can go for weather based crop insurance as well. So because of this, whenever the farmers are coming across this unseasonal rainfalls or drought, then what happened? They will be getting losses. So these losses should be given by the government. And the southern states, they need stronger guidelines to avoid construction in the location with drainages. Okay. And next one here is we can also go for using of this environment impact assessment as well. So environment impact assessment should be mandatory for all the commercial projects. And especially in the Kerala, we can see high amount of winds there. So because of this, we can come up with this aerodynamic orientation spaces. And next one here is, so in the meanwhile, so we need to also take some big part of climate actions. So we need to focus on protecting and expanding the forest coverage, etc. And India, which mainly gains from being the part of this Glasgow Declaration on this forest protection that 141 countries they signed in this 2021. And apart from that, is if you're talking about the dams in India, so we are having the dam safety? No, not at all. Because more than 295 dams in India, they are mainly built more than 100 years ago. So we need to focus on the safety of these dams as well. And if you're talking about in Uttarakhand region, so we should not go for building of these dams, because this is the most highly active region in India. So where we can see lot of amount of landfalls. Okay, and India also need to share a disaster management. Okay, India needs to share in disaster management, and we need to raise to 2.5% of GDP. So we need to increase our disaster management regarding funds of about 2.5% of GDP. Okay, and next one here is the states can also get some funds or resources from this union government, and they can go for a financial, technological, and as well as some meteorological systems as well. And next one here is we also have this MG Narega scheme, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So under this we need to focus on some works that should be focused on this climate adaptation, agriculture, waste, and livelihoods, etc. And next one here is state, it should make some compensatory payment to this local self-government resources for being used for this climate adaptation. So these are some important steps and the solutions are given by the author. So it is a very nice article. You can go through this one. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says we need an orderly transition from coal to renewables. So here we are talking about why we need to move from this coal to renewables. So if you are talking about one important crisis that we are facing is coal crisis, and this is monsoon season. So there is a high amount of rainfalls that are mainly seen. So because of this, it will become very much difficult for the coal mining. So if we want to get this coal from other countries, that is importing of coal from other countries, we have to pay tax on that. That is, I think, 400 rupees per ton. And apart from that, global coal price had been increased. So for all this, yes, it is a solution. So we need to go for transition to this. We need to move from this coal towards this renewable energy. So this is some idea regarding this topic. I hope you got some ideas of what we are going to discuss. So now let us try to see this topic, and this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under economy once again. So now let us try to see this context, why it is in news. So as you all know that Russia-Ukraine crisis is going on. So here, because of this Russia-Ukraine crisis, that led to disruption of supply chains. And because of this commodity prices, especially regarding this energy, which had been increased. And because of this, number of countries are facing this energy insecurity, especially European countries. So even there is increasing of price of this global coal as well. And even because of this increasing of heat wave like situations, there is increase in the demand for energy. So now let us try to talk about what is a coal scenario in India. So if we are talking about a coal scenario in India, so here India is the world's 4th largest Okay, India has world's fourth largest coal reserve, and even India stands second biggest producer of this coal fuel, okay, behind China. So China and India, they accounts for about 80%. Okay, if you're talking about especially in India, we have Coal India. So this Coal India Limited, it is a one important coal miner in India, and this Coal India Limited, which mainly it accounts for 80% of this country's domestic output, and country generates 75% of power. That is, we are dependent on the coal for electricity. That is, we are mainly focusing on thermal electricity. And according to Ministry of Power, the annual demand will grow at a faster rate when we are comparing in the future 38 years. In the coming 38 years, so there will be increasing of demand for this electricity. And whatever the mining capacity of this coal, which had been decreased, right? So because of this, yes, we need to move towards this renewable energy. So if we are talking about history of coal sector in India, so coal sector in India, which mainly started in 1774 itself during the British times. So we came with the commercial exploitation by this Raniganj coal field in West Bengal by the East India Company, and later on we came with this National Coal Corporation, National Coal Development Corporation 1956, and we mainly focused on improving of this sector further, and later on we came up with this Coal Mines Act 1973, and we nationalized all coal mines in India, and we again repealed in this 2018, and we also came up with this legislation of Coal Mines Special Provisions Act of 2015, and that mainly allowed re-entry of private players into the sector. So if you're talking about what are the policy, yes, we also came with some policy initiatives in this coal sector. So first one here is we came with a declaration of this policy. In February 2020, coal minister, he mainly said that we are going to stop importing of this thermal coal from 2023 to 2024. So for this, we are mainly, this is one important thing that shows that we are mainly moving towards the renewable energy. And this one here is National Coal Index. So this index, which was rolled out in 2020, and it is mainly focusing on revenue sharing contracts. It is also focusing on change of price level of coal in a particular month as well. And we came with the fixing of the coal price according to base year, that is the 2017-18. And what are the reasons for this pioneering of this NCI? Okay, so we also came up with this wholesale price index in this coal also. And this one here is we also came up with the involving of private sector. So whenever there is entry of the private sector into this coal sector, so that led to production of more coal as well. So now let us try to see about what is the importance of increasing of domestic coal production. So why we need to focus on this? So actually in the global level, at international level, there is increasing of price of coal, that is from 131 to 165 to 238, that is almost doubled. And we are also seeing there is inflationary measures as well. So whenever we are getting the coal from international market and we are producing the electricity, means that will also leads to increasing of cost of coal, cost of the electricity. So because of this, we can see inflationary conditions in the India. And next one here is in India. And next one here is we need to shield domestic economy. So whenever there is increasing of domestic coal production, that would also helps made to reduce exposure of domestic economy to price volatility of international markets, and that will also helpful to reduce the cost as well. And we can also see there will be some ripple effect. So more than 80% of this India's total energy revenue, it is about $94 billion. Okay, so it is mainly from the taxes, duties from the oil and as well as gas, and even if you're talking about coal and electricity, it is about 16%. Okay, so because of this, we need to go for domestic production. And now let us try to see next topic. It is a one interesting topic. I think this might be new for you. So if it is new for you, so let me know. New. Okay, let me know, or let me comment. Let you comment in the comment box that is it is new for me. So new research says playing wind instruments can spread respiratory particles. Yes, you might know that in the many functions we used to blow this type of instruments, right? So especially during marriage, during barat, so we will be using this type of instruments. So actually this study says that whenever we are blowing this instruments, that is a blowing instruments or wind instruments, that will lead to spreading of particles. Yes, we know that. So why it is new? So why we need to focus? So we are comparing wind instruments with this brass instruments here. So this is the new topic. So this topic is important from your health point of view, which mainly comes under your GS paper 2. So if you see context, it mainly says that just like coughing, just like sneezing, talking, singing, this playing of wind instruments also spreads respiratory particles. So this is about the study. So if you are comparing with the brass instruments with this wood instruments, so brass instruments, they mainly produce 191% of more aerosols than wood winds. So if you're talking about when we are blowing this brass instruments loud, at that time the higher particles will be released when you are comparing with that of this wood winds. So by using this wood winds, when you are trying to blow loud or blow hard, so there will be no difference between the particle released amount counts. But here in this brass instruments, if you are blowing loud, means there is a higher particles that will be spreading. So if you are comparing with the male and female who starts using this wind equipments, then what happened? So in the males, so there will be the large amount of aerosols, that is 70% of high amount of aerosols will be released from this male. So why? Because of lung size will be more, and even capacity will be more. So it is according to some research study. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding post RBI easing norms, bank hike foreign currency deposit rates. So here this article is mainly talking about foreign currency deposit rates. So what are the steps are taken by the RBI? So we have to know that. So here we have to know that FCNR and as well as NRE. So we are going to focus on that. So this article is important from your GS paper 3 under economy point of view. So if you see context, it mainly says that recently our Central Bank of India, that is RBI has undertaken some measures to enhance forex inflows, and as well as we are seeing there is one concern of depreciation of Indian rupee. So there is falling of value of Indian rupee against dollar which is happening, and so here we are mainly focusing to increase this forex inflows. So whenever this forex inflows is happening, then we can make Indian rupee strong. So what are the measures taken by RBI to boost this forex reserves? So first one here is India has depreciated 4.1% against the dollar. Okay, so because of this ongoing geopolitical tension, we came with depreciation such that what happens? So we are trying to attract more amount of foreign investment. And if you are talking about foreign portfolio investment, because of this geopolitical crisis, that led to pulling out of about 2.32 lakh crores in the last 6 months. So it is a very huge amount. So we are talking about this foreign exchange reserves. They are nothing but the assets of a country. Okay, assets of a central bank. So assets which are mainly reserved by the central bank in foreign currencies. For example, you can talk about bonds, you can talk about treasury bills, you can talk about other government securities. And most of these foreign exchange reserves are held in form of dollars, US dollars. And if you are talking about components of these forex reserves, we have foreign currency assets, we have gold reserves, we have SDR, that is special drawing rights, and even we have reverse transposition of this IMF. So these all will be comes under our components of forex reserves. So we are talking about what are the measures. The first one here is FPI, investment in debt. So here FPI, that is foreign portfolio investment or foreign portfolio investors. So there is some difference between this FII and FPI. Let me know the difference in the comment box. Don't forget about this. So this is also your homework. So we're talking about this FPIs. They can invest in the government securities and corporate bonds. So it has also sought to boost debt portfolio inflows by widening the basket of securities available to FPIs. So actually this FPI is one of the important route for the foreign investment in India. But here what happen, investors, they will be investing in some companies, investing in some non-convertible debentures, and even some domestic mutual funds, government securities and security receipts, etc., and will be also helpful for higher returns as well. So RBI which mainly allowed the banks to give higher returns for this foreign currency deposits. So whenever any person who is depositing money in the Indian bank, so here now RBI which mainly allowed the bank to provide higher returns, such that we are mainly attracting this. That means there will be increasing of interest rates on this foreign currency deposits, and relaxation of this external commercial borrowings. So here RBI which also came up with this governing of this external commercial borrowings as well. And next one here is exemption on FCNR and as well as NRE. So FCNR means nothing but foreign exchange into India. Okay, so that is like, if you are talking about NRAs, they will be getting higher returns wherever they are depositing the money. Okay, money in the banks. That is, FCNR means nothing but foreign currency non-resident deposits. So whenever they are coming up with foreign currency non-resident deposits, so whenever they are depositing in the banks, then they will be getting higher returns because of increasing of interest rate. So this is about the steps that are taken by this RBI. So these are some important topics that appear in the today's Hindu newspaper. So this is the analysis. And now let us try to see the today's Hindu PDF. So before seeing that, I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod's IS, we came up with foundational course for UPSC CSC 2023 and 2024. So here we are providing more than 600 hours of video classes, and we are covering each and every aspect of your syllabus. So if you starting your preparation from the zero layer, after watching these videos, you will be in a position that if at all any questions appear in your prelims and mains, you will be able to answer those questions. So that's much clarity that you can get if you are joining these courses. And if you want to get individual course, like if you want to watch only geography videos, only economy, only history, so you can take the individual modules also. So if you want to watch the demo videos, you can visit our website rathodsisacademy.com. There you can register with your email ID and you can watch 3 demo videos. So this is one of the excellent course, and you can get the conceptual clarity for 100%. So why you need conceptual clarity? Because of changing the trends of this UPSC. So UPSC is not asking the fact-based questions now. So it started asking analysis-based question. To answer those questions, conceptual clarity is very important, that you can get through these videos. So if you have any query, you can call me on this number 8074765513. And it's also WhatsApp number. You can also text me on this number. So now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. This is our Hindu paper today. Date here is July 19th and this is Delhi edition. So first topic here is amid 99% of polling, Murmu bags a few opposition votes. So what is this article talking about? So this article talking about yesterday's presidential polls. So now let us try to see some highlights which are given here. So presidential election held on Monday was peaceful and as well as orderly, as there are about 99% of members of electoral college. They mainly gave their vote to elect our 15th president of India. So out of this, here 2 candidates were. The first one here is NDA candidate, that is Draupadi Murmu, as you all know, and next one is opposition candidate is Yashwant Sinha. So here there is no whip. Okay, so there is no whip. So even though some few opposition members, they claim that they voted for this Miss Murmu. So here how many voters are there? There are about 736 electors. So let me know the electoral college of president. Already we discussed number of times, right? So it mainly comprising of 736 electors. Also over the 727 MPs and 9 MLAs, they were registered to vote at the Parliament House, and 8 MPs, they did not exercise their right to vote. And total turnout here is 99.18%. It is very good. And Election Commission of India. So why Election Commission of India? So Election Commission of India, which mainly conducts elections for president, vice president, state assemblies. So it is not going to conduct elections for this panchayats and municipalities. So this is some important thing that you have to remember. Okay. And this is about this article. And now let us move on to next article. So here you can see second monkeypox case in Kerala. So now we are seeing the second monkeypox case in Kerala, which mainly confirmed in a 31-year-old man. And actually now we need to take some steps, especially to control this monkeypox. So if it is not controlled, it is going to become one more pandemic in India, right? So let me know some advices. If you are a future district magistrate, so what are the steps that you are going to take as a district magistrate? So let me know in the comment box. So here if you see this image, so it is about one road accident. So bus which mainly fell into this Narmada River in that district of Madhya Pradesh. So you have to know origin of this Narmada River and some tributaries of this Narmada River, whether it is a west flowing or east flowing river, and if there is any dam built, so what is a dam? So you have to know all these dimensions. And if you move forward, there is nothing much in city page. So here in the city page, I will show you one image. So let me zoom. So this is one image. So it is about Kanwaryas. So Kanwaryas, they carrying Ganga water from Haridwar, walking along the ring road in Delhi on Monday. So these Kanwaryas, they are mainly the devotees of especially Shiva. So in this Ashad Mass, so they will be bringing this water from the Ganga, and they will be start pujas. Okay. So here you have to know about this communities, that is Kanwaryas. Okay, and now let us move on. And in this states page also there is nothing much important, and you can directly. So here you can see one article that is regarding illegal constructions. So SC panel blames Kerala for illegal constructions. So here you have to focus on what will happen in this illegal construction. So you have to know about the coastal regulations as well. Okay, coastal regulation zone. So those are some important topics that you have to know. And this editorial, there is one article regarding sharing power with the next generation. So this article is talking about idea of intergenerational justice. So if time permits, so in tomorrow's lecture I will going to take this topic, because already this video is very lengthy. And I discussed about this 5-day work week. And if you come to this op-ed page, I discussed about this climate imperative, that is climate catastrophes. And if you move towards this text and context, there is one article regarding this Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So already number of times we discussed this Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and let us have a look over this. So actually why this is in news? So Iran and Belarus, they could soon become the newest members of this SCO. So here you have to know which are the countries which mainly the members of this SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So as you all know, India, which is also the member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So this question which appeared in this 2022 prelims. So first of all, in 2001 the foundation was formed, and in this foundation 5 countries, they mainly came together and formed this Shanghai 5. So those include Russia, China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan. And later on India acquired observer status in 2005, and later on Pakistan and India both together formed the full-time members in 2017. Okay, so here you have to know about some facts regarding this SCO and what are the important aims and objectives of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So they want to promote effective cooperation in politics, trade, economy, research, technology and culture. And they also came up with some focus areas like education, energy, transport, tourism and environment protection, etc. So this is about this topic, and you can easily go through that, and you have to know what is this SCO and how it is relevant to India. Okay, and next topic here, it is about Pakistan and IMF date coming up with talks. So actually you know that. So here Pakistan, which is mainly facing some severe economic crisis, balance of payment crisis. So because of this, Pakistan which mainly approached this IMF, right? So here you have to know about what is this extended fund facility. So here on July 14th, staff level talks between Pakistan and IMF which mainly held, and they concluded 7th and 8th review under this extended fund facility. So they are coming with the aim of providing $900 million to this Pakistan. So here in this In this 39-month extended fund facility between these two, which mainly signed in July 2019 itself, and they mainly agreed to provide special drawing rights of $4,226 million. And actually it is mainly signed by this Pakistan to address balance of payment crisis. So to provide this amount of this extended fund facility, here IMF also made some demands. It mainly said that you need to reduce the debt and you need to build resilience, and market determined exchange rate we need to be come up, okay, such that they can restore the competitiveness in the market. So these are some important demands which is made by this IMF. Right. So why IMF support is important for Pakistan now? Actually, you know that this Pakistan's economic situation is a dire. So it is very succumb in this economic situation. So even according to this economic survey of Pakistan 2022, so fiscal deficit here it is $18.6 billion, and the public debt here is $252 billion, and it is like 66.3% of the GDP, and the power sector debt is also very high, it is like $14 billion. So because of this support of IMF is very important and very crucial for this Pakistan. Okay, so this is about this topic, and now let us try to see some more important topics here. So if you move forward, here you can see one article regarding stalemate in India-China talk continues. So actually recently the new round, that is 16th round of COPS level, commander level talks, which mainly held on Sunday between India and China. So here in this meet, there is statement, there is nothing moving forward in this Demchok and as well as Dipsang area, and in this agreement they mainly said that they are mainly going to agree to stay in close contact and maintain dialogue through military and as well as diplomatic channels, but there is no progression regarding de-escalation, disengagement in this Demchok and Dipsang Valley area. So it is one cause of concern. And if you move forward, here you can see minority status in India is state dependent, says Supreme Court. So this is also one important article that I can say. So every person in India can be a minority in one state or another state. Okay, so minority status of religious or linguistic communities is a state dependent. So if you are talking about so and so community which is upper class in so and so state, so if you are moving to other state, they might be minority. So Supreme Court says that this minority status which is mainly the state dependent. So every person in this country can be minority. So I can be a minority outside my state. For example, if I am majority in Maharashtra, if I go to Karnataka, I am maybe like a minority. So every person in the country can answer this description. So here in this context, Supreme Court said that it is mainly belongs to the state, right? So if you see some examples here Judaism, Baha'ism and Hinduism, who were the real minorities in Ladakh, Mizoram, Lakshadweep and Kashmir, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Punjab, Manipur, and they can't establish and administer education institutions of their choice because of non-identification of minority at the state level. Okay, actually if you are talking about institutions, minority institutions, that is education institutions, is in our fundamental rights we have articles, it is Article 29 and Article 30 of our Indian Constitution, which mainly asked about whether a specific notification is required or not. Okay, so the question from the bench came in response to submissions made by senior advocate that Hindus who are residing in certain states, they are unable to exercise their rights. Okay, they are unable to exercise their right 29 and as well as Article 30 in absence of specific notification declared them as a minority. So here Supreme Court said that it is mainly based on the state and they need to get a specific notification that they are minority, then only they can claim protection under this Article 29 and 30 of Indian Constitution. So this is a judgment. So here you have to refer the articles of Article 29 and Article 30 of Indian Constitution. And now let us move forward and let us try to see some more articles. So here you can see Parliament adjourned on first day amid protest. Yes, the protests are happening in this monsoon session regarding inflation, Agnipath scheme and GST. So we have to see how it will going to proceed and how many bills are going to be passed in the houses. And next one here is defense exports. I discussed this topic, and here if you see this article, you can see 12 members, they are killed in this bus accident, which mainly fall accidentally into this Narmada River. So you can go through that once. And this world page, you can see France, Spain, they fight spreading wildfires. I discussed already this topic. And here in this business page, there is one article regarding this crypto law needs global teamwork. So this is the thing which mainly said by our finance minister. Actually, what are these cryptocurrencies? Cryptocurrencies is nothing but they are borderless and they require international collaboration to prevent the regulatory arbitrage. So because of this, we need global team network. And next one here is GST compensation dues. Now total it is rupees 266 crores. So actually there are a number of states, they have to get their dues. For example, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, UP, Delhi and Gujarat. And next topic is interesting topic, that is Russia said to seek Indian oil payments in this UAE dinar. So it is one of the interesting topic, I have to deal with this. So Russia is seeking payment in UAE, that is United Arab Emirates dirhams. Okay. So here they are going to take this money in the form of this UAE currency. So Russia, which has been hit a lot by the sanctions of USA, and they are also banned from this SWIFT payment systems. So it is mainly finding for other alternatives. So because of this, Russian oil major, that is Rosneft, is pushing crude through trading firms including Everest Energy and as well as Coral Energy to India, and they are the one of the biggest oil buyer, okay, after China. And next one here is, we are mainly if you are talking about Indian imports of crude oil, so Moscow replaced this Saudi Arabia as a second biggest oil supplier to India after Iraq. Okay, so this is about this topic, and these are some articles which appeared in now today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I am concluding. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you so much.